Show me the real Moses.
For the witch queen, black waters, dragon venom. That shit got right on top of you. She sells seashells by the seashore. Medea, me more. She sells seashells by the seashore. Medea, me more. They sell you knockoff Jesus, facsimile of the real mystery. Your poster boy, pedophile, drug addict was made by Rome to enslave all of you. Knock, knock. Can't you hear me? I'm at the door. Pristine Theory X. Black Waters, Black Venom. Julius Caesar hung Medea's portrait on the Temple of Venus. The producer, Divine. Julian Library of the Renaissance. Sibylline books, so cold with the freezy, poisonous kisses. She sells seashells by the seashore. Medea, me more. She sells seashells by the seashore. Medea, me more.
Welcome back to Lady Babylon, initiating apocalypse. Nice to see you back tonight. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to tell you right off the bat what we're going to be doing. We're going straight to Moses. We're going to look at Moses and God, and we're going to watch them get completely high together. We're going to see what it is in the original text. We're going to watch the beautiful interlacing of the drugs with the cult vision. And we're going to see Moses at his best. Are you ready for this? You're not. You're not, because this is the actual text. You have not seen this. Nobody has seen this because of the big lie. The big lie is that this text was originally in Hebrew. It was not. Tonight, we're peeling through that historical trauma, and we're going right to the heart of the language. Why? Because we're scientists. That's what we do. That's what we do. Tonight on Lady Babylon, we're going to look at Moses and Yahoo at the same time linguistically. This is going to be lovely. You're going to, it's so scrumptious. I want to start tonight and say, we've got a couple of people that I need to give shout outs to. I gave a recent interview. Go ahead and bring it up. Yes, here we go on Higher Side Chats, right? And unfortunately, Higher Side was bombarded by people that were angry audience talking about, I'm going to pull my subscription, take out my investment. I am going to march off in the distance in a huffy tirade. And you know what? It didn't matter, because Higher Side stayed the course. Yeah, stayed the course for the sake of honor. For the sake of honor. So what I would like to ask you to do is to show Higher Side exactly how much it means to toe the line of reality to us. How much does that mean to satanic congregation? It means a lot. It means a lot. Who else, sir? I've got to flash another ally here. This is the Curious Man's Podcast. The Curious Man's Podcast, right? And look what we've got here. Oh, God Speaks with Dr. Amen. That's Matt. Matt was fantastic. I want everybody to know about Matt. For the sake of the Curious Man's Podcast, I want you to know about that. Now, the other thing I want to say, take that down, Chewy. The other thing I want to say is I'm going to be on Danny Jones. And I know, can't wait for it. Can't wait. It's just going to be lovely. And I love the fact that every time I give an interview, the response is usually somewhere between thank you very much, this was fantastic. Now, if we can just figure out how to get it edited properly to get presentable to the audience. It's that fiery. It is that, oh God, the material. Danny just brought it out. He brought it out. It was gorgeous. My commendations to Danny Jones. Fantastic. We got in there into the material, and I think you're going to like it. So we're waiting on that. Okay. I want to take you in. Are you ready? Here we go. Boom. Give me that first source, Chewy. All right. Let's go to this. I want you to see the real tonight. I just want you to sit back and I want you to envision the real. Now, where have we been up until this point in the story? Go ahead and flash that first text up there. This is what we're going to be looking at, but go ahead and take it down. But let me tell you what's happened before this. You know what I mean? Moses, whose name is a 3rd century construction of Musaeus, right? So the author of the Bible, who's writing in the 3rd century, they are pulling down the tradition that is the Orphic mystery tradition, the oracular tradition, right? Coming through one woman, the Medwa, or as the Greeks called her, Medea, right? And these people are working. They're working on getting things done. Moses is out there in the, doing his thing with his sheep. And all of a sudden, what happens to Moses? All of a sudden, he finds that bush that burns, but it doesn't stop burning. It doesn't get consumed. It just burns. Look, you can light it and whoop, there it goes. Whoop, it comes back. Blow it out, comes back. It's going to come back. There it is. This burn. We're going to look at, this is where Moses has gotten to. And tonight we are going to learn the name of Jehovah. We're going to learn the name of Yahoo. We're going to learn it. Are you ready? It's in the Greek. It's in there in the Greek. Are you ready? And everybody will finally see it. It's gorgeous. Now, it is the sacred name of God. So it is with my utmost humble pleasure to be able to bring it to you. It's gorgeous. Let's go. Hit me with this first text. I'm just going to read it to you, people. Yeah, so he says, look, it's Mo and God, and they're sitting there with the fumes of this thing, fumigating themselves. And he says, look, nobody's going to believe me. Nobody's going to believe me if I go back and tell them I spoke with God, right? And then what am I going to do? And so Kurios turns to him and he says he's speaking. Where is he speaking, by the way? He's speaking out of the smoke, baby. Ti tuto esti. What's in your hand? What's in your hand, brah? And he says, a rabdos. Moses says, a rabdos is in my hand. Go to the next one. Wait a minute. What's Moses walking around with? What's he walking around with? Here, put this thing up there. And people don't understand. Now, again, we're going to get into the fact that this is so complex and the Hebrew is so simple, right? You're pulling out a layer of technicality, right? When you have to translate the Greek to the Hebrew. So that's what's happening here. And what is this rabdon? Look, it's a rod, people. Look at all the different types of things that it is. We'll look at number one, the magic wand. Look at the fishing rod. Oh, yeah. Look at this. This is gorgeous. Yeah. The rhapsode carries this thing around. Who is the rhapsode? That's the singer. That's the singer, bro. You didn't think psalm was a Hebrew word, did you? It's a Greek word. Yeah, fantastic. So this rabdon, hit me with the next example. What is this thing Moses is carrying? Well, let's look at its early prototype right now. This is the magic wand that's used by Circe. So, and everybody's watching Harry Potter and they're like, whoo, Harry, your wand, baby, point your wand. Point it right at Hermione. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't point that wand, Harry. Stop. This is the one that Circe is using. And she is using it in an archaic Bronze Age, late Bronze Age form. And what does this thing do? This thing's a vehicle for her to transform a person from a sentient to an insentient, yes, a toy, if you will. Isn't that neat? That's Bronze Age stuff. That's Bronze Age stuff. This is a tool. Remember, you doctors, when you go to work, what is your symbol? It is this thing with a serpent wrapped around it. Oh, you mean this thing is medical? Yes, yes. And remember, please, that there are ways to introduce drugs to the human body in the ancient world. And one of them is on board a thing that you and I today, the proper terminology would be something like medicated dildo. And so here we have it. Here we have it. Who uses these things? Back to the Circe bit. Yes, love it. People, look at this. That's in the Odyssey. That's in the Odyssey. Let's float a little bit. Look, the thing which Athena touched Odysseus. Seriously? Seriously? Did you know that Athena was touching Odysseus? She touched him with her golden rabdon. And what happens when you touch Odysseus with your golden rabdon? He looks younger. He looks younger. Yeah, you remember the imperial theriacs? Yeah, where do you think that technology was developed? Right? Oh, God. This is lovely. Okay, let's bring back the text. This is too much. That got a little bit too too much seasoning. Look what Athena did. This is her golden rabdon that she's going to be applying to Odysseus. Yeah, that verb there, it means that she's applying it. Yeah, she is covering it. Yeah, she is doing it. She's doing that. Mistress of the arts, the medical arts thing. Go. And what else can you do with a rabdon like the one Moses has got in antiquity? You know, what can you do with one in the 3rd century, especially? Tell us, bring us to the 3rd century. Look, Hermes lifted up his rabdon, the one that he uses to thelgo your eyes. To thelgo your eyes? Yes, he uses it to thelgo you. What is that? That's when somebody takes over your mind. Have you ever had somebody take over your mind and introduce thoughts? And you say, that sounds quite crazy and somewhat ridiculous. Well, it turns out, Manfred, whenever they have drug parties of this magnitude and excellence, that there is a little bit of programming that can be done. Fantastic. You know how long you can keep somebody in a cage? Yeah. Wait a minute. Is this the Bronze Age? Yeah. It's the time that they're figuring out when all of these dotes and antidotes will work with and against each other. Right. So, yeah, good. Remember, master formula kind of stuff. Go to back to this one. Look, who is it? Who's got the thing? It's Hermes, right? It's the angulos. Remember, the text tells us that Moses was visited by an angulos in that bush that burned. He was visited. Where was that angulos? Within the flocks. Within the flocks. Pulos. Oh, God. Oh, God. Are you beginning to see what the angulos does? Are you beginning to see it? Look at Moses, everybody. We all got off the time ship so fast. We all, here it is. Were you surprised that Moses is heavy into drugs? Are you surprised? Yeah. Not only that, he's into the good ones. Watch what he's about to do. This guy is a tripper. He is a tripper out there. And I wanted you to see this because I want you to put Moses and Jesus right next to each other. And remember, I'm going to ask you, how much time separates Moses from Jesus? Well, in the fairy tale world, it's 1,000 or so years. In history, it's only about 250 to 300 years. Separates the two. Right? Moses as a creation of the 3rd century, as a knockoff of Musaeus, Right? This character is already established. This prophet is already there. Why do you think there are songs of Moses? Right? We are working from a 3rd century environment. So what we are seeing in the 3rd century is being sucked into our fabrication. Did he just call the Old Testament a fabrication? Yes, he did. He did. In a poorly done translation. Oh, God. What happened to the scholars? This brain drain or something. I don't know. The grammarians usually have their stuff together. So let's stick with them. Let's stick with those Greek grammarians and see what they record in olives. Okay, give me the next one. What is the rabdon on the Hebrew side? Surely this is the source. Wait a minute. A staff. This is the mate. And what is this? A staff, a rod, a shaft, a branch, and then metaphorically a tribe? Okay, there's not. Does everybody see how the depth, we've gone now from the depths to the kiddie pool. We're now at the shallow end, right? With the kids and their diapers are in the pool. Did you ever get in the pool with a kid with his diaper on? Oh, God. Let me tell you something. I never did that with my kids, ever. Never would I put a kid in a diaper in a pool. That's so gross. Okay. That's okay. Stop. Where's the whip is for such things, right? That's bad. That's bad. Paternal. Be good with your parenting, parents. Public service message. If your kid's in a diaper, don't take them swimming. Oh, God, why did that make me so mad? I don't know. Let's go to the next one. It's just the Yahoo gets me pumped. Okay, look. So what happens? Whoops, we need to go back to that previous text, Chewy. I'm sorry. What happens? Nope. One more. That's the boom. Yeah. What else does the angulos that comes out of the bush, out of that pure, out of that flux, that lightning, that Uranian power, right? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's because you haven't seen him do it, right? You haven't seen him do the right. Don't worry, you catch up. But here's the angel, and what's the angel saying? They not only take control of your eyes, but what do? They raise those who are sleeping. Yeah, they resurrect those who are sleeping. Yes. Now you know why the discussion. I bring the Greek to people. The more people say, "Oh, that makes more sense." That makes more sense that that's how they're right. The fairy tale actually doesn't make sense. Right? And that's what the naked kid with Jesus does. When Jesus was arrested in a public park at 4 a.m. with a naked boy screaming, "I'm not a trafficker," when the SWAT team took him down, there was no question about what he was actually doing. That wrap that was on that kid's private parts, that naked kid that was on his private parts, he was siphoning. Jesus Christ was siphoning a drug through it. Oh, God. It's horrific, I know. And I know that this reality is particularly disturbing. And you people at Satanic Initiation, you love it. You love exposing it for what it is, right? Because come on, come here, Jesus. Right, that's right on his buttocks. Do you know why Jesus Christ deserves a striping on his buttocks? Because he was arrested at 4 a.m. with a naked kid. Yes, don't you understand how much of antiquity, especially in the 3rd century when this thing is written, how much of antiquity is driven by the Great Mother? The Bacchants are all followers of the Great Mother. Oh, God, it's a time of child protection. Jesus is working against that current. And it's all over. It's all over his quotes. It's all over everything he's touching. Oh, God, let's get back to the text. Was that a creepy portrait there? Sometimes it scares me what you find. Okay, Let's go one more. I just want to see, this is generic serpent, because I'm going to conjure the serpent now. Are you ready? Because, there was a serpent involved with this meeting of coming out of the bush with the angel, and smoke, and it doesn't stop burning. Vision. What's the vision? Oh, let's go. Bring it. Give me that next one. He says, "What's in your hand?" This is Yahoo. Yahoo turns to Moses in the midst of this fumigation, and he says, "Hey, what's in your hand?" Moses says, "I got the rob done." And he says, "Okay, throw it on the ground." And he throws it on the ground. And then he says, "Watch what happens." Thing becomes a serpent. Becomes a what? Becomes a draco. Not one in general, but one very specific serpent. Yeah. And Moses says, "Yikes," runs away, right? And Yahoo says, "Get back over here. Grab it. I want you to grab it by a part of its body." What part of its body do you want me to grab it by? Give me the next text. Nope. After that, that's ultimately what the Hebrew says. It uses the word for tail. Grab it by the tail. But I want you to see the kintros and what it is on the Greek side. And here's the text, by the way, look, this angel came to him in this puri flogos. Look, there he is. He's coming out of the bush. So I want you to see, people, I'm just giving you the text, right? And what's happening? The thing burns, but it doesn't get consumed. Hit me with the next one. Oh, God, let's fly. Let's fly. Catch him up. What is the thing that's making all this smoke that you and I, God, are sucking up? It turns out it's this bramble bush, baby. Turns out it's this bramble bush. Somebody get me 10 of those. We'll import those things to where we are. And I'll sit here and talk to God all day. When people ask me, I do the medical side. And so it sounds funny to me when people say, "Do you think they really used drugs in antiquity?" It sounds funny to me. And it sounds like we're simpletons, to be honest. But this kind of stuff is shouldn't be surprising by this point in the game, right? These fumigations that are going on and all the medical stuff, the Christing, it's all part of the same package. Give me that after the bathos. Yeah, give me that one. What is the flux that we're looking for? Remember, people, we're in a cult. No, don't take me seriously. I told him we're in a cult. So this is the atmosphere. So when that messenger comes to you, right? Where are they coming from? That flame? It's hard for us to translate. That flame. What kind of flame is this flame, though? It's that flame of lightning, that flame of the thunderstruck. Right? Take the word for this flame and you turn it into somebody who is thunderstruck. How do you get to being thunderstruck? Right? To those of you who have gotten close to the throne of Satan, and to those of you who have taken your seat upon the throne of Satan, those of you who have the star in your hand, you understand the meaning. You feel that meaning. You feel it, right? At the orgy. You understand? Oh, God. Look at what kind of transmission is going on. This is gorgeous. Take a minute. Give me that text again. Give me the next text. As soon as it's too much time, they're going to get it too fast. Speak to me, Yahoo. Here it is. Okay, everybody, this is brand new. You've never seen this trick. Are you ready? I'm going to give it to you right now. The words of God himself. Are you ready? I'm not talking Zeus either, right? Zeus is one of many, just as Ammon is the eighth. And remember, you can always have a rebellion against the gods, and you can take that monstrosity and turn it into a historical reality, like they did under Akhenaten. And do you know what they did? They made that one God monstrosity, that monstrosity, that as soon as Akhenaten bit it, they broke down all its monuments. And they said, we're going back to Amun. We're going back to the 8th. Why was that so critical? For the sake of all the gods. Gods like justice. Why was that so critical? Why did that restore what the Egyptians had already had? It's the same thing that drags down. It's the same power that drags down classical wisdom. You cannot mingle classical wisdom and any monist belief. You can't. They don't work together, right? They will destroy each other, or one will get the upper hand. Yeah, but somebody's going down. They cannot coexist. It is a monstrosity. Frankenstein. It's very Frankensteinian. That's fantastic. That's not a word. Go. That's not what they meant when they said you must coin so many words. It's not what they meant. Tell me, Yahoo, what did you say? Remember, he said, ego emiho on. Oh, doesn't that sound nice? Before I tell you what that means, go to the next one, because what could the Hebrew language do with that? The Hebrew language just put that verb I am, and then who, some kind of relative, and then followed by the same verb again, I am. Right? Okay, I am who I am. And that's how it ends up in all of the translations. Take it down. That's how it ends up in all of the English translations. It sounds very Popeye-esque. Right? I am what I am. Right? That is not what the Greek says, as you can see. Even if you don't know Greek, you can see, oh, it's different. It's not just one word repeated twice. Right? Remember, when you're going from ancient Hebrew to ancient Greek, you are stepping up the level of technical difficulty. Right? The Hebrew sentence there is a quick run and a jump and maybe a couple of twists. Right? The Greek is a lengthy routine. Look at what they've done with it, right? So I am what I am. Is the Hebrew side. Now, ready for the word, the original words of God? Are you ready? I am the being. I am being. I am being. Think about the difference there. I am that I am. Like gangsta Yah says, I am what I am, baby. Right? You can see that. You can respect that, right? What do we give that? Judges. What do we give? It's a 7.5. 7.5. Watch the artistic detail, the technical. Do you know what the whole on is? Look at what this is. First of all, the first thing we have here is ego. And ego is a personal pronoun. You don't have to use that in ancient Greek. The personal pronouns are used for emphasis, ownership. Right? It's not just something being done. I'm the one doing it. Me. And you know what he says? He says, I am on. Who is he saying he is? He says he is the one. We get a definite article, ha, and then we get on, the participle. The one being. I am the being. I am the act itself of existence. Which, if you think about it, has a kind of a much larger reach than I'm whatever I am, baby. Right? The gangsta, yeah, is a little bit over the top that way, right? Very tribal, has a very tribal taste to it, you know, and the level of technology is a little bit lower. It's a little bit, you know, there's a reason they sent Jesus to Egypt to get educated, right? With all that money. There's a reason he did. Right? It's just because things were not good. Libraries were not up and running. Yeah, it's a shame. But everybody knew that. the province, right? Okay, so it's just the way it is. It's a fragment of history. Down there in Alexandria, they were kicking everybody's butt. Don't get me wrong. In Alexandria, whoo, that's where it was all happening. That stuff just sucked in the world, right? How can you come stand next to that? You cannot. Give me the next one. Give me the next one. Oh, yeah, there we go. So here, he said, this thing that I just told you, I am being. This is my Ionian. This is my what name? This is my Ionic name. Now, how did the Hebrew handle this? How did the Hebrew handle this and take everything off track after it with it? All the English translations are going to follow this, right? Look at forever at the end. Yeah, leolam, right? Last time I saw it, that's what it meant. Yeah, right. Fantastic. Is that what Ionian means? No, and they have those words. They have several for something that goes on without end. Yeah, and it usually has a form of a on it because there's a lot of different dialects and they're developing, so you get a lot of sometimes some repeat. So yeah, this is not it though. Ionian. What is Ionian? Look, you and I are going to go to the synagogue from the 2nd century, and I want you to look at it. Okay, you and I are in a 2nd century synagogue, and do you know who is on the walls? Ion, because we know what Ionic life is. Ion stands there, and around him is this ribbon, and that ribbon has 12 distinct separations on it. Each of those separations is a house. You mean, wait, an astrological stuff? You mean the first Jews were astrologers? Yes. It's a huge part of why you have a synagogue, why you have a synagogue. That's a Greek word. It's a Greek word. Yes. So, they're doing astrology. Isn't that fantastic? Astrology. And the Romans, by the way, Romans get a little bit upset about that. And they have several decrees. And it's kind of weird to read them. The first time I read one, I was like, what? It's a decree to exile all the astrologers and Jews. It's almost like they're an astrological sect, not an ethnicity. That's how the Romans are treating it. Yeah, Romans have something against those astrologers. You know why? It was rubbing up. It always does. It rubs up against rulership, right? Yeah, because you can take somebody's birth and blow it up and determine everything. Yeah, you know what happens? That stuff always happens. Next thing you know, some kind of insurrection. You can't tolerate that. You have to kick out those astrologers. Yeah, that's the Roman way. Okay, thank you, Rome. I kind of get it. I kind of understand where you're going because you're looking at it from a civic kind of standpoint. I understand, but I never really got why you associated those two until I realized that the texts are all, you'll see throughout any time that we study the Septuagint, you're going to be shocked at how much of the astrology tech there is there, how much of it stays. So don't be surprised they're worshiping Ion on the wall, right? On the wall, 2nd century. We've been there. We've seen them. Look them up. Look them up. And there we are. Okay, so what is my Ionic name? If you can remember the last passage we looked at, Livia, with the, I'm sorry, that was a slip. The impress, right? We're talking about the impress. Anyway, this is my Ionic name. This is my Ionian name. What is the Ionian thing then? What is that? Pray tell me, Amenhotep. Where is that guy? He changed his name. By the way, Tutankhamun changed his name from Tutankhaten because of the whole way that monotheism dragged the Egyptians into the dirt. Yeah, fantastic. So what is that Ionian? Go down. I think it's this one. Yep. Boom. This word ion, we are here with ion. What are we doing with ion? We are mourning. We are mourning. Wait a minute. Does anybody smell Adonis? Yes. Now you know why we have to take the name Adonis, and we have to say, no, this is not actually a Greek or Plaskian, but it's blah, blah, blah. And we have to come up with our own roots. That's what we're doing. When we back translate, when we create a text that we're going to claim as a translation, right? That's what we have to do. That's the tools that we have to work with. It's like you're working from your own prison, so to speak. You've painted yourself into a corner linguistically. And this is what we have to do. What is the ion? What is it really coming from? Right? If it's not meaning this always and for all time, it's the groan that we have. It's the mourning that we have for Adonis. It's the mourning that we have for Adonis. It is our shout. Look at that first line at the end. It says to cry, I. To cry, I. Yeah. Well, tell me what it means to cry, I. Hit the next one. What does that mean? And Nancy, I hope this strikes a chord with you. Look, what is this Aya thing? Well, it's an epic form that's used for Gaia. Look at that first line in Greek. It's so beautiful. Phusizos Aya. Well, who is Aya? Aya is she who is the nature living. Literally, it says the living nature. Aya is living nature. Now, look here at the bottom, number 2. Look here at number 2, and what does it say? It's originally the name of Kolchis. Kolchis. And what do you mean? What is Kolchis? Kolchis is a city, and it is also the name of a woman. Yes. And Kochlis is its equivalent with a very dystopic switching of consonants. One of them jumps in front of the other one. Just like that. But you look at the Victorians. If you don't believe me, go to Alice in Wonderland. Look at the Victorians and see what they say about Kolchis. What is Kolchis? It's not only the name of Medea, it is also the name of the purple. Isn't that nice? It's the name of the purple. All of this cult that we have tried to cut away the false Hebrew, to look at the original Greek, all of this cult has led us right back to that original mystery. This is the reason that Medea's students, the Magi, came after Jesus. Yeah, they saw his star. Now, do you know what it means? Yeah. Jesus. By the way, I want you, as we're thinking about Moses entering into these drug rites, right? Remember, the Egyptians catch up. They do the same thing. The very same thing. They make that draco, right? Why? Because they knew what holding up the serpent meant. Which, by the way, is Jesus itching his belly around here somewhere? That's why he wasn't pitching, because he was a belly itcher. Go. Don't you remember that? Keep going. There we go. Yep. Let's try that one. Here's some no, that's always variations of it. It's not, we're past that. What else does God want us to do? By the way, we're still in the fog. Does anybody feel it? I feel a little bit of the effects. We're still in that fog. And what is that fog making us think? Well, God is telling us, plunder the Egyptians. Right? Plunder them. Oh, wait a minute. He's using a term that reflects the activities of Alestes. Oh my goodness. Now, don't lose it. Remember, this is the 3rd century, right? So where do you think they're getting their images from? It's what's in the environment around them. Yeah, love it. Plunder the Egyptians. says the lay stays. Moses is like, dog, this guy is down. Hit me with the next one. Yeah, there's the plundering. Yeah, good. Really strip somebody bare. There's not much. Yeah, good. Look what you do. You take from your enemy. You plunder from your enemy, right? Because that's what we got going on here. We got warfare going on. And he says, what's in your hand? What's in your hand? And he says, rabdos. Wait a minute. Haven't we been here? This is the rabdos, right? I'm just catching us up. And go to the next one. Jesus. Oh, I knew it. Jesus was going to be dragged into this. Ofesarusin kanthanasimon tipiosen. Oh, God. Oh, God. Jesus. Speak up, Jesus. Remember, I just used the Greek word ophis, right? For that serpent. That serpent was specifically the one that's in the garden. This is the ophis that opens your eyes. Right? Yeah. And here he is. Jesus, tell us, what are we going to do? We're going to elevate or introduce the use of those serpents. And if you drink a thanasimon, a death inducer, it's not going to hurt you. And you will heal other people. Okay? Are you ready for what the cult is doing? How do you think that we come to those visionary states? Look at what he's saying. Jesus is saying, right? And by the way, if you are a Christian today and you do not understand the use of compound concoctions of venoms and how it is that brings you through death to be reborn again, you don't understand. You don't know the Ionian name. You just don't know it. You don't know the being. Do you understand? No. See, that's the point. You're doomed. You're doomed not to. Isn't that cool? And that allows the Christ to select, to be very selective with initiations, because there's only some of us who have ears to hear. Everybody else is going to get slaughtered. Do you see the monist tendencies? Do you see how destructive the monist tendencies are? Oh, it's fantastic. Let's go. Let's go to the next one quickly. I want you to be reading this story as I'm translating. Right? What's God gonna do? What else, God? Please tell me from the bush. Tell me. I'm gonna open your mouth. What are you gonna put in my mouth, God? Remember, the only place on God that Moses ever gets to see is his buttocks. Yeah, you mean Moses saw Yahu's anus? Yeah, he did. He had to be put. It's so powerful to see the anus of Jehovah. It is so powerful. You got to be put into a rock, right? They're going to have to cement you in there because it's boom. When you see that thing walk, boom. He's like, look, I'm going to put you in this rock right now. I don't know how much of that burning bush is taking its effect. I don't know what we did with that venom in that rabdon. And all I remember was you told me to try to pick it up by something. And that something in the Greek is a membrum virile. Wait, what? Yes, God said, reach out, Moses. Reach out your hand and grab the dragon's male member. Grab. The reason we have to have the membrum virile in Latin is because you would be shocked that Moses and God are sitting there talking about a penis. And God is like, reach out and grab it. Right? The Egyptians are doing the same thing. Don't be shocked. Okay? The text openly says those pharmakes, those it's often translated as sorcerers, but sorcerer is Harry Potter. Right? It's fantasy land. These are people who have immense drug knowledge and not in a nice so way. They're aggressive, right? And they get involved in governments, right? That kind of approach, that kind of cult. That's why even the Romans at one point are like, oh, this cannot go on. These Bacchants, they have to be stopped, right? You're like, what? The Romans persecuted Bacchus? I thought they're, yeah, no, they did. Because there's a power. There's a power to the Bacchic mystery. When you have those churches, they take power. Yeah, that's how it is, bro. That's how it is. It's just a taste of monotheism, right? It's released as soon as you stop the stranglehold, right? It's just that sphinx, right? Yeah, I'm going to strangle, right? That's what it's that moment. Yeah, thunderstruck. Remember, we're getting thunderstruck. Yeah, fantastic. Go to the next one. Let's get a little bit more of the story. Just some of the salacious stuff. Yep. Somewhere down there. Right. He's going to put in his, what is he going to put in his mouth? Go down here. Go down here. He's going to put, no. Yeah. Well, he's going to open his mouth and he's going to really apply it. You know what I mean? What's Jehovah putting in my mouth? He's putting the remata there. You can see it. Right. So remember, what do you do with the wand? You capture and control somebody's thoughts. And what do you put into their mouth? You put the sayings. You put the words that are going to come right out. It's basically just essential, sophisticated chemical programming. We're not doing anything different from what Circe was doing, but Circe figured out a way how to turn a dude into a total slave and make him like a sex fiend. Isn't that nice? Just for a toy, for whenever you wanted to. Otherwise, you're giving him drugs to pacify him. Right? Isn't that cool? That's kind of, all you got to do is you got to give them that one combo that makes them enter death. And then you bring them back. As soon as you do that, they're so grateful, right? That you become a gatekeeper, right? Remember, John Tzitzis says Circe went back to find Odysseus when he went back to Penelope. He went back to find Odysseus. And it says, Tzitzis says she killed him and resurrected him. Yeah. She was restarting. Something didn't happen, right? And he was just always sitting there on the beach, right, crying. You want to know what Odysseus did for years? He sat on the beach and cried. He cried. Man, that guy had so many drugs pumped in him. He could, who's giving them to him? Hermes is the first one. He gives them. Here's the best stuff. Oh, it's fantastic. That angel from that bush always brings that first rush. Yeah, that first drug. Yeah, and again, these are drug combos. These aren't simples. Okay, go ahead. So don't get all excited about which one is the magic drug, because it doesn't exist. All right. What is this sign? Yeah, let's keep going. I skip one. Keep going. Go down here. What do we have there? Yeah, hit that one. Perfect. We're going to expect to see Terata people. I just want you to buckle up, because we're going to see those totally horrific things, right? Those things that are way out of touch with reality. Yeah. The things that are, they can't happen that way. It just doesn't make sense for them to happen, but they do. Things we really can't explain. And go ahead, hit me with the next one. What else do you want me to do, Jehovah? You want me to what? Oh, I'm going to kill your firstborn child, bruh. That's what I want you to do. You want me to go in there to Pharaoh, and one of the things that I'm going to say to him is this: I'm going to kill your firstborn. Yes. Okay. All right. I get it. I'm there. I feel it. But give me the whole picture. We're almost done, people. Look at this. Okay. I'm going to go do what you say. This is what Moses does. He tells him, I'm going to go do what you say. He walks away. You know what I mean? It's not under the influence. He's walking. He's just going to a place to stay with his wife. He's found a Motel 6, right? This is not the fanciest place on the planet. This is not, the beds may not be the cleanest, right? You can get away with some things here that maybe, I don't know, makes us feel uncomfortable a little bit. Don't worry about that. I got this job done. I'm perfectly Bacchic. I'm exactly where I need to be as a Bacchic. So I'm here with my wife, and what happens? Oh shit! One of the anguloi who served the Curios shows up. And guess what it says? It says he comes up, gets in Moses' face, and he gets ready to kill him. He's going to kill him. And what does he do? When Zipporah sees, that's Moses' wife, right? When she sees that he's about to get killed because Gangsta Yah has sent this freaking enforcer out to kill him, right? Do you see what happens? Now you know why we brought Medea to Adam. Now do you understand what that was for? Didn't you understand what those kidnappings were all about? Oh, God, try reading Herodotus, people. Oh, where's the seminarian? He doesn't know what Herodotus is. It's a person. Oh, seminarian buttocks deserves to be punished for not knowing. Right, you boys, you're going to step in it if you're not careful. Next thing you know, you're going to wake up in a drowsy in a garden. Can you imagine Peter, James, and John, who are so drowsy? They've been so drugged. These are teenage boys, right? And they've been so drugged that they can't even stay awake. And there's this creepy guy, Jesus, with a kid who's a young kid, and he's got his penis wrapped up. And he's with this young kid. Can you imagine waking up as one of those boys? At what point do you say, hey, this adventure's over, right? I can't take this stuff anymore. Look, the guy can't even stand. He's stumbling around. He's got all this purple goop on his face. Looks like clotting blood. What has he been doing to that kid for the last hour? Yeah, did you know Jesus had that kid in there for an hour? Now, their hour could be an hour and a half, 2 hours on our time. Oh, God, he's got enough time with that kid. And that, he was saying, right? And he was saying, oh, God, I don't want this. Take this cup away. That poor kid cup. I feel so bad for that kid. He could have had a normal life, baby. He could have. Come on, Jesus. Right? Maybe he sensed that in him. Maybe that's some of the brightness in Jesus's life. Is it maybe in the end when he was saying, I don't want to drink this cup, because he had to drink his communion right out of that kid's private parts. The purple is going to be absorbed in his mouth. Yeah. And he's going to get the galene, the antidote, through that kid's semen. And I can't tell you how disgusting it is for me to think about what Jesus was doing with that naked boy. I know it's disgusting, but that's where we have to go for reality if we want to get down to the. Let's hit the last couple of verses here. It gets my goat right now. It gets my goat that we don't have a proper appreciation for what we're looking at in the symbols tonight. I just want you to remember what that symbol means. I want you to remember, and I want you to know what that symbol covers. I want you to know it. Penelope, you're my darling, and I believe you're gorgeous. Thank you for coming tonight, Penelope. Okay, let's go back. We got a couple of texts left. That's it. Hit us, wherever we skip. I don't know. Right there. Here we go. There's a ram. Something was written on a ram. Oh, God, did I miss it again? Right? Something's written on the ram. Remember, and Gnostic Informant gave you these sources last week. He told you Tacitus, the Roman historian, very capable Roman historian, says that the Jews are exiles, right? Common in antiquity to have exiles. It's not like they were the only people ever, right? It's happening all the time. It's movements, migrations of people, right? Disturbances, civic disturbances and migrations. And he says that the Jews were one of these migrations, and they originally came from Crete, and that they threw off the worship of the Ammon, the eighth. Remember the eighth that we're looking for in the apocalypse? He threw off. Ammon threw them off, exiled them. They were not allowed to become monotheists, right? Ammon prevented it. Do you see? It's written. All of this is written on that ram. It's written on the skin of that ram, and the dragon is protecting it. Let's go to the next one. Oh, God, watch this. Here's what I don't want. I don't want you to make those incisions in your skin. for the sake of your soul. And I don't want you to write those tattooed letters on your body. Do you know why? Do you know why the Kurios, the monist divinity of the Jewish religion, do you know why he doesn't want you to have tattoos on your body? He doesn't want you to make those incisions. Do you know why? Because that's the activity of an Ogdoad. That's an activity of a polytheistic system that's preserving liberty. That's what they do. When you have a monist takeover, you take everybody and put them into a box, and whoever doesn't fit into the box gets executed. That's the way it works. That is the way that we function, especially when we are pushing genocide. Right. Which is in the text, right? So, okay, fantastic. That's what we don't want. Amen is going to give you the tattoos, right? We don't want that. Go, and tell your brother what? Throw down that rabdon and reach down. Do it right in front of Pharaoh, right? What's it going to become? It's going to become the dragon. Give me the last one. What happens when all of this mystery is performed? There is born a dragon. Thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate your time. Gnostic informant was waylaid technologically, so we'll see him next time maybe. But I want to tell you before we go, as you see the dragon emerge, as you find the beast bearing up that cup, and you know what it was that was done in the mystery, realize you are becoming awake. This is all reality, and you are coming awake. Love it. I want to see that edge. We don't have much time left, and we need to cut to the chase. We need to find that target, and we need to eliminate it. This is the classical world reemerging in a renaissance. Thank you. And for everybody who asks why I do it, hail Satan.
They lie with evil for money. The witch queen of the trees got these arrows. The tips dipped in the darkest of venoms. Medea seldom asked me to kill, but for what you did to the kids, she's coming to get you. Vampires like to suck blood. The juice is loose, spitting these rhymes on the microphone. 1, 2, 1, 2, this thing on. Keeper of the song for Medea, with a kiss of poison, she's coming to see ya. Boom bap, snake queen trap. She sells seashells by the seashore. Medea, me amor.